I first came into the role, I've been with the company for almost 4 years. I started January of 2016. And from a pure corporate treasury perspective, I would say that the group really just was not a mature corporate treasury function to support a company with over $2 billion in annual revenue, operations all over the world, and was just a lot of maturing to do in terms of how they were organized and how they were equipped to be successful, and even with having a vision for how they bring value to the company. So that was actually one of the first things that I needed to work on with the team is how do we bring value as a corporate treasury function to the business? What are the business needs? And to make sure that we have an aligned function around how can we bring expertise into the treasury function. Once we had that shared vision and everyone was able to embrace and own that vision, then we could look to what were the things we needed to do in the future, which really led to our transformation project to equip us to be successful in achieving that vision. Going from public to private, we were completely restructuring our balance sheet and our capital structure, new debt portfolio, unwinding hedges, and then putting on new hedges. So all of that in working with our lenders, working with rating agencies, going through that whole transition from a capital structure standpoint was certainly additive to the Treasury Transformation Project at the same time. And then there were other business goals that impacted our project as well. As a public company, there were numerous acquisitions that hadn't been fully integrated, certainly from a back office perspective. So we had prior acquisitions to integrate. And then as a private company, we've continued to grow through some acquisitions. So from a treasury perspective, we were involved in that, in due diligence, in funding, in financing for those acquisitions, as well as just from an operational perspective, being able to integrate those acquisitions into how we do business. So there's a lot there. It certainly started as maybe a simplified treasury transformation project, but then was expanded just given some of the goals of the business. I would say how we sized up the milestones on the bank transformation side, it was to really build the project team, including the bank. We really partnered with Bank of America, and they brought in a pretty significant implementation team, and we were able to then focus on certain legal entities in geographies and break it up into phases in terms of transitioning the banking, and everything involved with that. So, that was a key milestone. Implementing the European cash pool, we broke that down into legal entity by legal entity, country by country. Again, nothing that was big bang here. We started with 1 or 2 countries that were more of the pilot for the cash pooling process. We built some momentum, had some quick wins under our belt in order to grow from. So we really broke that down into country milestones. In terms of the technology, again, a lot of pre-work there to implement the treasury management system. Kyriba was the vendor of choice for us, and there was a lot of pre-work in bringing together our own master data, cleaning up our master data, and phasing the project down to certain modules and being very intentional to go module by module in a way that made sense and we could build on that. So that's how we organized the project. We started with bank account management, again, very foundational in terms of managing our bank accounts and having all of the master data to then move on from there with other modules. I would say At a certain point, it can get overwhelming, and don't let it scare you. Start with a vision in mind, start with the end in mind, and stay focused on that. Certainly, you have to break it down into manageable pieces and parts, but don't be overwhelmed or scared by the opportunity. It will take time, and it will take partnerships both inside the company and outside the company to be successful. There's a lot of pre-work involved, and I would say take the time to do pre-work, to build advocacy behind the project, and to have that momentum along the way. That's very helpful, but there's value at the end, and to stay focused on that.